Hello, Big Mountain Riders, and welcome back to Life's Joe. So this is part 4 of our We've Been Slacking, Let's Get Crackin' little effort series here. So this is my effort up Johnson Pasture, and this is the start right about there. You can see the first couple sections. There are a little bit of technical bits, so you kind of have to navigate through those. Not too tough, but you know, they do take the power down and slow you down a little bit. The second half of that with the little climb was a little bit loose and rocky, but you know, nothing that's too hard to get past. So once you get past that, that's where you can start laying the power down. There's a little bit of traffic on the trail, but nothing's slowing me down too much. And yeah, I'm just starting to get into the rhythm. So if you saw our last video when we went up Mellow, if you keep continuing, you know, on this paved part of the road, staying to the right, that's where that would take you. Today we're going a different path. We're going to the left and heading up Johnson Pasture. So here we're on the gravel. I'm riding on my giant Revolt, and yeah, just starting to get into the rhythm. My legs today were not feeling the best. I did definitely start to suffer a little bit earlier than I would, you know, generally like. I usually know I'm right on pace and having a good day if my legs really start hurting about halfway through the climb. And today it was after the first like fourth or so, maybe a minute and a half or so in, that I really started to feel the burn. But you know, just got to keep fighting. So my average, the temperature, first of all, for this effort was about 58, 59 degrees, which is pretty perfect when you're doing a full gas effort. It was a little bit misty. You can see there's a little bit of precipitation on the camera there. But yeah, it was really great temperature to go out and give it a full gas effort. It's nice when it's not too hot, because then you're just worrying about overheating and sweating buckets, but on a nice cool day, it just feels great. So the bottom half of this climb, it's a little bit, you know, flatter and nothing too tough. And then coming up in just a second, we'll go around a corner, and that's where the gradient kicks up a little bit. I think the whole thing averages 9.5 for, 9.8%, I think. Let me pull it up here. Yeah, so 9.8%. It's about a mile long. Here you can see that's the first super steep section. Even with pretty easy gearing that I have, cadence dropping down to about 770 or so while I'm doing 500 watts. So, you know, nothing too easy getting over there. I forgot to put the gradient on the metrics here. Whoops. But yeah, I think I don't know what the highest gradient on the climb is. Probably somewhere around 18%, I think. Maybe 20%. You can check out Gemma's video. She does have the gradient on there. My gearing, I've got a 48-31 up front and an 11-34 in the back. So easy gear is a 31-34, and it turned out to be pretty good for this climb. There were, you know, a section here or two that it was a little bit under geared, but I think it was pretty much perfect for how I like it. My average cadence was 84 for the whole segment, so not too bad. It was a little bit low, but that also got lowered some by the first section, where I did have a few sections I wasn't pedaling, so probably closer to 90 without those couple little bits. Yeah, and the first section did also kind of bring down my power. I was looking at my average from the start, and I did get a little bit discouraged because I think it was reading at like 415 or so, and my legs were hurting pretty bad. So, you know, I felt like I was going harder than I did the last segment, but the watts on the computer were showing less. So it's a little bit discouraging, but, you know, you just got to keep fighting. You never know what you're going to find in the second half. And it turns out, you know, when I look back at the data, that the numbers were actually pretty good, and I did better than I had really thought I was doing. So, yeah, I think if you take out the first 20 to 30 seconds or so, I ended up averaging 425 for the whole segment. which is the same that I did last video in our effort of Pomelo. And with the first little bit included that was a little bit slower with those technical bits, my average was 416. So, I was seeing the 416, thinking that I was doing worse, and if you exclude the first part, then it was 425, which is not too bad. So, but yeah, you can see here, suffering, fighting. You just gotta, keep going. You just gotta have some determination and keep fighting. And I know the top is just a couple minutes away, and the pain is temporary. So you just gotta fight through it. Once you get to the top, it'll feel great to be done, to have known that you've given it everything you've got, and that's all you can do in the moment. So you can see the suffering, the determination on my face. This group's going by thinking, what the heck is wrong with this guy? But I don't let it mind me. I'm just, keeping doing my thing. At this point, I honestly probably barely even noticed them, because I was just hurting, and that's all you can really think about sometimes. But you do have to try and let it go as much as you can, and just mostly focus on your breathing, focus on just staying relaxed, because those are the big things. If you've stayed breathing well, if you've not wasted energy, tensing up your shoulders and your arms, then it's just going to give you a few more watts to get over the top, and a little bit extra, a little bit extra efficiency, I guess.
Let's go, babe. Almost there. You got this.
So you can see here the view from my #1 fan. And I know that it's just a couple more turns till the top. I'm fighting it out, giving it everything I got. I think I had, we'll see here when she turns the camera. So there's the left, or the turn to the right, and then the turn to the left. As soon as you make the second turn, that's the end of the segment. So I'm probably 30 seconds or so out. And at my limit, just giving it everything I got.
I won't forget. Come on, make me sweat. Jalapeno, jalapeno.
All right, so coming around this bend, I know as soon as I get to this little bit there, that's the finish. And yeah, it was a tough section. Legs didn't feel super great, but the power ended up being not too bad, I guess, at least when you exclude the first little section. And yeah, now let's take a look at the results after round 1, and we'll see who won this first segment.
That one hurt. I was off. Too far off.
I'm hurting just trying to catch up to you.
I think I was about 5 watts slower than last time. I think you went relatively faster than me this time.
Woo! Life's a gem! If you missed my effort, go check it out. It should have already been posted. I'll leave the link somewhere over there, or down there.
All right, so here are the results. Scroll down here to Johnson Pasture climb. So ended up with a time of 7:26 and an average power of 416. Put me into 3rd place overall on the climb. And now let's compare and see who did better, who was the winner of round 1, Gemma or I.
So the percentage to beat was 28.8%. Joe did it in 25.2%. So I win this round. And my time was 9.56 for this climb. Joe's time was 7.26. And when we average the 2 climbs that we've done so far, the next percentage to beat is 27%.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you all on the next one.
Jalapeno, jalapeno.